If you're using an amplifier that has more than one channel, you may be able to use the amp control feature to toggle between the two channels. Just bear in mind that not all amps will be suitable to take advantage of this feature. To set this up, simply connect a cable from the amp control output jack on the back of the GT8 and then the other end to your amplifier's channel jack. Pressing the amp control button will determine whether your amp will work. If it does work, you can assign the amp control button to the control pedal, expression switch or expression pedal on the GT8 to make channel changes more convenient when you're playing live. This works great if you want to set up several parameters to change simultaneously with your amp's channel. The order in which effects are placed within a patch can have a dramatic effect on the overall sound. As an example, if you placed a reverb or delay before the noise suppressor in the chain, the subtle decay of the reverb or delay repeats would be unnaturally cut off by the noise suppressor when they reached a certain level. So, if you place these effects after the suppressor in the chain, the decay will naturally fade out. Similarly, effects such as the wah will sound very different depending on whether you place it before or after the preamp in the chain. Essentially, there is no right or wrong way to place effects within a chain, although there are some general guidelines that I prefer to follow. Generally, you would have the wah and overdrive at the start of the chain, then your preamp. You would then place the noise suppressor to keep the noise level under control, then place modulation type effects such as the chorus, phaser and flanger, and lastly, time-based effects such as reverb and delay. Again, these are only guidelines and it really does pay to switch effects around in the chain just to listen to where it sounds best. Experimenting with this can lead to some very interesting results. To alter the order, press the effects chain button to enter the menu. Use the parameter buttons to move the cursor around. For example, here we have a preamp, then delay, and finally the noise suppressor. Let's switch the order by moving the cursor to the left of the delay, then press the master button. You will notice that the noise suppressor has now shuffled to in front of the delay. Now in this example, we want to place the overdrive in front of the preamp and the wah in front of the overdrive. First, move the cursor to the left of the preamp and press the overdrive button. You'll notice the overdrive move to the head of the chain. Now move the cursor to the left of it and press the wah button. Now it has moved to the front. The GT8 has a function whereby certain effects can carry over to the newly selected patch. For example, if you were playing a solo and you had reverb and delay on, it is possible to change patches and have the delay repeats and the reverb decay fade out naturally, rather than be cut off during the change. To do this, press System and scroll to the patch change mode. This must be set to smooth for seamless patch changing. This function relies on a few other important factors for it to happen though. For example, the preamp must have the same type for both patches, although the individual settings such as gain, tone and speakers can be different. You can have effects 1 and 2 on in one patch, but they have to be either the same in the second patch or off. Or simply use effects 1 for one patch and effects 2 for the second. Here is an example where I have two patches, one with an auto wah and the second with the harmonist. Just as an example, I have set the delay feedback on both fairly high so that you can hear the change. Both patches have a different EQ setting as well. Here are the settings for both patches that you may like to use as a template for your own seamless patch changing.